I'm your host, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Let's begin.
Secretly wants to evolve and have a new experience. Whether it's wealth, whether it's health, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's a new career, everybody has in their mind some vision of where they want to be in the future. There's nothing wrong with that. And our simple model is that your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So the present personality who's listening to this podcast has created the present personal reality called their life. Which means then if you want to change your life, you want to create a new personal reality, you're going to have to change your personality. You're going to have to change because nothing changes in your life until you change. So what is the understanding of change? So we've spent over 10 years studying a way to explain what change is, because if you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts or however many thoughts in one day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before, you're in trouble. Because the same thoughts will lead to the same choices will lead to the same behaviors, the same behaviors create the same experiences, and the same experiences produce those very same emotions, and those same emotions influence our same thoughts and our biology, our neurocircuitry, our neurochemistry, our hormones, our gene expression. Our immune system, everything stays the same because we're the same. So it has traditionally taken crisis, or trauma, or loss for someone to make up their mind to change. So the moment we decide to change, okay, I want to create a new personal reality, a new life, I got to change my personality. Well, this concept called metacognition, a forebrain function, the seat of our conscience, our frontal lobe, allows us to think about what we're thinking about, to notice how we're behaving, and to become aware of how we're feeling. And the repetition of thinking, acting, and feeling in the same way causes our brain to become hardwired into very specific neural patterns, right? So that firing and wiring over time causes us to happen so automatically that we're unconscious of our conscious self. So the moment we become conscious of those thoughts, the moment we become aware of those behaviors, the moment we notice those feelings, we're no longer the program. In fact, we're the consciousness observing the program, and that's the first step to change. So when you decide and become so conscious, the word meditation, I looked it up. The symbol means to become familiar with. That's all it means. It means familiarization. So if you become so familiar with I can't, it's too hard, I'll never change, no one loves me, you become aware that you are blaming, complaining you all day long and talking trash about somebody. You notice all of a sudden that this feeling that you're feeling every single day that you're so accustomed to is really guilt or shame or unworthiness. The moment you're conscious of what you're experiencing, in other words, when you're inside the jar, you can't read the label, right? So you got to become conscious of that unconscious stuff. You got to see yourself through the eyes of someone else. The tragedy that causes you to no longer feel like you any longer actually causes you to look at you from the eyes of someone else. You can see yourself more clearly because you're not feeling like you any longer. That's the big moment of change. So then, when a person really can become so conscious of their unconscious self that they don't go unconscious again, or let me say it another way, how many times do we have to forget until we stop forgetting and start remembering? That's the moment of change, right? So we default back to our old personality every single day because we respond to someone or something in our outer environment. And I say, Mayim, why are you unhappy today? And you say, I'm unhappy today because of that person or that circumstance.
It's never one thing, Dr. Joe. It's always like 10 things.
Yeah, it's just 10 things, right? But you would say, I'm this way because of these 10 things. But what that really means from a biological standpoint is that something in your outer environment is actually controlling the way you're feeling and the way you're thinking. Now, anything that's controlling the way you feel and think, you're victim to that circumstance. And the stronger the emotion you feel for that condition or that problem or that person, the more you pay attention to them. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy, and you're giving your power away to that person or circle. Everybody has done this. at some point in their life, right? Where they have to catch the thought. They have to catch how they speak, the act. They have to notice, ooh, this is that weird feeling again. I'm not going to just stay in this feeling. Can I change it, right? So then, if you remind yourself every single day of who you no longer want to be before you start your day, become conscious of your unconscious self, so conscious that you don't go unconscious in your waking day. The next fundamental question is, if your personality creates your personal reality, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? And with attention, with presence and intention, energy, begin to fire and wire that thought. If you can fire and wire that thought, you start installing the neurological hardware in your brain. Keep doing it, and it starts acting like a software program. It becomes more automatic. That's the new voice in your head that says you can, it's possible, or whatever. And then, how are you going to behave in the Zoom meeting? How are you going to behave with your children? How are you going to behave with your ex? How are you going to be today when you open your eyes? Now, here's the cool part, and you know this. The act of closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing who you're going to be, planning your actions in the day. Mental rehearsal shows that you could actually install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like you already did it or it already happened. Now the brain's no longer a record of the past. It now becomes a map to the future. Okay, we've all rehearsed something in our life in our minds over and over again. Keep doing it, keep rehearsing it, keep reviewing it, and it'll start to become more automatic. And you could actually program a person then to behave as a happy person. No magic there. You installed the circuits. Now here's the hardest part. Can you teach your body emotionally what that future would feel like before it happens? In other words, don't wait for your healing to feel gratitude. Don't wait for your new relationship to feel love. Don't wait for the mystical moment to feel awe. That's kind of the old model of reality of cause and effect. Let's wait for something out there to happen to take away this emptiness, this guilt, this lack, this suffering, whatever. What if I could condition my body emotionally into the future? So then we started studying not only brain coherence, but we started studying heart coherence. Could a person trade resentment and watch their heartbeat in a really irregular fashion to a more coherent fashion where when they're feeling gratitude, when they're feeling inspiration, when they're feeling love, could they practice that enough times, so much so that they can condition their body into the emotion of the future? Now here's the cool part about that. Our research shows you could absolutely do that and do it so well that you feel like the future that you're in wanting to experience has already happened. And when it feels like it's already happened, you feel less separate from it, which means you're no longer looking for it. Why would you look for it if you feel like it's already happened? Now, to become familiar with the old self and then fire and wire and condition the body emotionally and chemically and become familiar with the new self, if you're truly in the experiment of life and I truly changed my personality, there should be some evidence in my world that there's been some change, either in my body and in my life and in some way. And literally, their biology changes. Their immune system changes. We've isolated thousands of metabolites to show that there's a flourishing going on in the body. The body's responding. It's believing emotionally that it's living in a different environment. That's the key.